Welcome to Hancock's VMware Half Hour. And welcome back to another Hancock's VMware Half Hour on a late Friday afternoon on the 11th of April 2025. And as you may have already seen by now, news broke this morning of the return. Broadcom have decided and ESXi 3 is back again in version 8.03e. Now, it was only yesterday that I updated our homelab from 8.03, technically maybe A, to 8.03D. And there is a video on YouTube. So the fact that we've got another version that's been dropped on us today, which is 8.03e, I thought again I would go through following exactly the same recipe to show you how to update our ESXi 8.03D homelab to 8.03e via the dirty method again. This is probably the last time you're going to use the dirty method in this manner, because as I mentioned, of course, we've got these token keys that are now going to be required going forward in the future. It's early days yet. We've not heard from Broadcom how they would expect us in a home lab now that they've issued 8.03e. They've not really actually said at the moment how we could update that, but I'm sure that will come. So as I'm a little bit behind here with the videos in where I wanted to get to, I've got one to edit and publish, and I've got another two to record, edit and publish, and I'm going to be really, really busy this weekend because the bee season is really, really getting on its way, and I've been out this afternoon in bee suit, chasing swarms hanging from trees. So I'm probably maybe going to have to give them some attention this weekend, which means I'm going to have to put some editing and that on the back burner. But anyway, whilst I'm here now, let's get into how we're going to update our 8.03D home lab. So, well, here it is, as you saw in part 1, part 2, and part 3, and part 4. This is our ASRock motherboard, or our Datto server motherboard, with our Intel Xeon D1541 that we've been exploring in our little mini home lab series that I've started for you. So we're going to follow the recipe in exactly the same way. If you've been following by now, you know that I like a double SSH session. In the first session, I like to tail the ESX update log so I can see what's actually going on, see whether or not we're getting any error messages. And in the bottom SSH session, I like to run the following commands. The first command we're going to use effectively is going to punch a hole through the firewall, the HTTP client, so the following command can go off and get the update. Now, I already have these prepared, so as usual, I'll go through them as normal. The first command I'm using is ESXi space network space firewall space rule set space set -e true space -r HTTP client. And then the second command I'm using is ESXi software profile update -p, followed by the update name, which in this particular case is ESXi-8.0U3E-246744464-standard -d, followed by https://hostupdate.vmware.com. Remember, of course, that is going to change after the 23rd, 24th of April. It's going to change to dl.broadcom.com, but you're going to need a token. Software, vum, production, main, vmw.depot.index.xml. The important commands on the end, I like using a --dry-run, which means basically that it's going to go through the exercise, but it's not actually going to make any changes on the host. And then for this particular server, because unlike the CPUs, I'm going to use --no-hardware-warning. And I'm going to hit enter. and we probably should actually basically see an awful lot of stuff. The server actually spinning up there, you won't be able to hear that, but you'll basically see long and awful stuff scrolling up screen. Now in version 8.03, we'll call it A, we actually basically saw a memory error, which is caused by the amount of information or data that now is being pulled down by the Python script. So here you can see that we've got that memory error again. So that's still not been fixed in 8.0.3D. I was hoping that it would be fixed because it means that we've got a little bit of an extra loop that we need to jump through. So let me go off and get my notes. So we'll increase the memory from 300 meg to 500 meg, and that will allow the Python script to run. Okay, so I actually basically use EndNote. Actually, I'm not sure what other people actually basically use. Some of it's on GitHub as well, but my GitHub account has been, I was going to say compromised. It's not been compromised. For some reason, GitHub basically turned around and told me that I've broken the terms and conditions. So they've suspended it. And that was like months ago. And I keep emailing them every week, asking them when it's going to be fixed. And I've had absolutely no response. Okay, so first command, I'm going to paste in, and then I'm going to paste the second command in. I think actually I probably did have these on GitHub. If you need to know what they are, then just let me know. This command basically actually changes the value from mem equals 300 to mem equals 500, which basically gives the process, the Python process, 500 meg of memory basically to execute and run, and we're not going to get that memory error anymore. It is a bit of a pain in the bum that we have to do this. I was hoping maybe, but as I said, really, you know, over the air method is what really I like to refer to as the dirty method, and I think the majority of people probably aren't actually updating their servers this way anyway. They're using vLCM, which is what I would actually recommend. If you've not got no vLCM because it's a home lab, you don't have a VMware vCenter server license, then you probably would have to update in this way. Obviously, after 23rd, 24th of April, it's still a question as to what would you do. At the moment, we don't know. So I'm going to hit that command again, and it's hopefully going to go off this time. Server spinning up in the background there. It's going to go off this time and do a dry run and complete. So this is our server. Let's just actually basically just bring this into focus. Just one moment. Something's broke. That's not a surprise. I'm talking about the actual basically switches and things here really, and not specifically this process. We'll just wait for this to actually basically complete. And then what I'll do, I'll try and fix that, and we'll sort that out. But if we actually basically go back here, you may remember, of course, in the last part, we talked about memory tiering, and we enabled memory tiering on this particular home lab. I don't believe this is a function that is available in Proxmox. So for those of you that are after a very budget friendly home lab, then this is something that you can utilize very, very easy by using a an NVMe stick. And as I showed you before, I've got a few of these P3 Plus PCIe 4.0 NVMe M.2 SSDs. Crucial by Micron. Okay, there we go. So if we just actually have a little scroll up the screen, dry run only. Okay, post not changed. Good. Vibs installed. Vibs removed and Vibs skipped. So what I'm going to do now, I'm basically going to go for it this time. So I'm just basically going to remove the dry run. So I'm going to remove the dry run. That process is going to start again. Servers fans are spinning up again. And whilst that's doing that, then I'm going to bob off and I'll speed this up in post as usual. Okay, so we've just logged in via BMC to our host. We've had a little look at the tailed logs, and we've got vibs installed, vibs skipped, vibs removed. We've got no error messages. So we're going to shut down and restart our host, and we're going to have a little look to see whether or not we see the build number change, 245.85383, which is 8.03D, and we've updated to 240.2. So we've updated to 240.22510, which effectively, no, we haven't. We've updated to 245.85383. That's the latest version. That is 8.03E. So we're hoping that when this server does a restart in a minute, that basically we've updated correctly. I'm gonna get rid of these SSH sessions. They're no longer needed anymore, and they've basically now defunct. So our homelab server is booting. We've not got any error messages. As I said to you before previously in part 1, part 2, we're using NVMe sticks, and there you go. 2467446 is the version. And we were previously on, 246. So we were previously on 245.85383. So that was 2.3. Hang on, 8.03D. And we've now updated successfully to 8.03E, which is the first free version of ESX in 2025. So hopefully this isn't going to take too long to start up, and we'll be able to log in and just actually check that the update has completed successfully. And there we go, we're finished. So let's just see whether or not that I can just refresh the browser here. Okay, just let me drop off. There we go. So I'm just going to log in. Remember, don't forget your password. And we'll get rid of that over there. So we've still got SSH enabled. And if we have a little look over here, importantly, we're now running 8.0U3E or 8.03E, build 246744464. So that's it. Could have done that yesterday if we knew and we actually basically had version E available, but we didn't. So there you go. Quite simply, how to update our ESX 8.03 homelab from ESXi 8.03D to ESXi 8.0.3E via the dirty method or the over the air method. Do it quick, because as I said, 23rd, 24th of April, all that's going to change, all that's going to stop. You won't be able to do it without generating a token. And as yet, we don't really know what Broadcom has for us in how we're going to do that. But I'll let you know. So with that, if you like this video, then please thumbs up. If you don't like it, then please thumbs down. But please subscribe. And come back again. We've got lots more to do in this mini lab series. I've just not got the time to do them. So anyway, so again, thank you very much for watching, and cheerio. And don't forget that if you are in the UK, or even if you're not in the UK, and you fancy buying some raw pure honey direct from Beekeeper, that's also a VMware vExpert and VMware vExpert Pro that loves VMware and loves bees, then basically just have a little look in the description. So once again, thanks so much, and good night and goodbye.